What's up everyone? My name's Joshua Kirk, welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking all about rigging out the Ursa Mini Pro G2, the 4.6K weapon of a cinema camera, and we're talking specifically about rigging it out in a really small form factor. So I've got it here just with a side handle with a top screen, just with the V-mount on the back. And it's just a really beautiful, compact cinema package to be able to take straight out of the bag when you're on shoots and capture a whole bunch of really awesome B-roll shots that you might not be able to get when it's fully rigged out for a cinema package. And that's the beautiful thing about this Ursa Mini G2 is that the more you rig it out, the more capable it becomes on big cinema productions. But likewise, you can also strip it right down, throw the EF mount back on it, throw a DSLR lens, and then you've got this package that you can hold really easily with one hand, run around and capture some awesome footage. So we're going to be talking all about that in this video. Okay, so this is the camera all built up for this run and gun style B-roll Ursa Mini Pro setup. And let's start with the body. So we've obviously got the Ursa Mini Pro G2. We've just got a simple tripod plate. When we rig the camera up larger, we often like to add a VCT plate, which is really sturdy on the tripod, but for the sake of stripping this right down, it's just a simple tripod mount. We do have the EF mount on the front of the camera. Again, it's just another great thing about the Ursa is that we can change these mounts out. So when we do little light setups like this, I often like to use a DSLR lens. And that is actually because the focus throw on the DSLR lenses is much shorter than a cine lens, so it allows you to hold the camera in one hand and pull focus with the left hand like this, and it's actually really easy to adjust the zoom and the focus all manually holding the camera like this. So we've got the lens on the front. We often use these Canon L lenses, also the Sigma 18-35. On the right here, again, I've taken off that small rig base plate that a lot of people use on the side, and I've simply put the Blackmagic side handle on here. This side handle is connected via the link cable, which we'll look at a bit later, but the link cable allows the side handle to trigger stop recording. If we move around, we've obviously got a V-mount battery, which powers our entire rig. One single battery powers the audio, powers the monitor, and obviously powers the camera. On the left-hand side here, you'll see that we are running the Samsung T5 drive. Now this is because we often use the SSD caddy at the back, which sits in between the battery and the camera. But because we've, again, reduced the size of this particular rig, we need a way to record into SSD external media, solely because we don't like using the CFast cards. One is price and the second is just our workflow in the studio. So what we do is we run a USB-C right angle adapter out of the side there, and that is getting fed up into the T5 drive, which is actually mounted on the back of the monitor there. Now on the back, we have an SDI port coming out of the back of the camera, and this is running into the screen. Now we're going to have a look at cable management a little bit later in more detail, but simply for the setup, we've got an SDI out of the back that is running into the Shinobi in the front. This Shinobi has a cage which is mounted to the camera via a NATO rail attached to the top, and it also has a small rig magic arm which allows the screen to be moved and flexed around accordingly. Alright, so let's have a look at cable management really quickly. We've got a whole range of cables on the setup, but as you can see, it's all really streamlined at the back end of the camera here. We have a SDI coiled cable coming out of the back port, and this is fed up into the screen. We also have a link cable, an LANC cable, and this is a trigger cable coming from the remote at the bottom here. This is also going up, and I'm actually using this cable to wrap around the SDI cable and the power cable to keep everything nice and snug here. So this link cable comes up, it wraps around these cables and then gets fed back around into this link input here. The SDI cable also helps secure the link cable in the camera. So this here is really snug. In terms of power supply, This D-tap to DC power cable here is powering the monitor, and this is actually quite a long cable. So what I've done is I've fed it out of the battery. It's going through this section here, it's wrapping around the battery once more, and when it comes up, it's getting fed back through this coil, through the main coil of the SDI, which is this section here, and then up into the screen. Now this is a view of the screen, so we've got the SDI cable and the DC power cable coming up from the back end of the camera, which we saw before, and that is wrapped around underneath the T5 drive into the monitor there. The DC cable, which you can see, actually comes around this SDI port, wraps around, and then goes into the back of the monitor. So as you can see, everything is really snug. Because of the coil and the way I've worked it, the monitor can be wrapped around, forward, back, left and right, rotated, and all the SDI cables, the DC power cable, and the USB cable for the T5 all flows really beautifully. Now, arguably one of the most important cables is the data cable for the T5 drive. I've chosen to rig the T5 drive up onto the monitor. To achieve this, I've mounted the T5 on the back and used a right angle adapter to come out of the T5, and this threads round into the screen. You can see I've used a 2 zip tie method here to secure one zip tie to the cable and then one to the monitor, and this actually anchors this down really nicely, as well as a locking connection on the bottom of this T5 adapter here. This particular cable I've had to shave off the plastic to fit it into this mount, but with the mount connected and the zip ties, this T5 drive is rock solid. And lastly, you can see the T5 drive is looped around and connected via a right angle USB-C into the camera. And I actually operate the camera with the screen closed like this. So this screen actually allows another protection point for the USB-C cable. So if this gets yanked, the screen is actually protecting it. So as you can see with this cable management, everything is rock solid. So these cables can be yanked around, but because they're all so secure in the mounting points and secure together, I don't have to worry and stress about cables getting snagged and potentially wrecking my setup. When I want to change the battery over, all I simply do is pull the D-tap out of the battery plate, pop off my V-lock, bring on my next V-lock, mount it down, put the D-tap back into the top of the battery, and then I'm away going it all over again. So as you can see, this camera is really light. It's a really nice compact form factor, and it allows me just to be really flexible on set, particularly when I'm trying to do B-roll pickups or get into angles that is just not simply viable with a big easy rig with this rigged out with a big cinema lens and cinema package. So I'm simply just holding it like almost like a gun. I'm just cradling it, and I'm able to focus on my screen, use my left hand to focus and to zoom. If I want to get low, it's really easy just to move this camera around. Super flexible. The one thing this camera doesn't have is obviously a top handle, but if you're creative, you can also extend this screen out and simply hold the magic arm like a top handle if you just need a couple of shots like this, and I find that that works beautifully well when I need it. So now once I've done shooting, what I'm going to do is simply just take the lens off, pop the front cap on, and then with the screen here, I can do a few things, but I can simply just lay it flat like that, and now I have a really solid, compact camera that I can actually just drop straight into my hard case and transport like that. I think the reason why I'm so excited about this setup is that you have literally the full capability of the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2. So you've got 4.6K up to 120 frames per second in Blackmagic RAW, and that's an incredible image in such a small form factor. And by putting these few accessories around the camera, it's actually a really practical way of using the Ursa. Well, there you have it. That is the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K G2 rigged out with just the essentials and just enough to be able to create a really functional camera for picking up B-rolls, even on the biggest commercial shoots. I think if I could give myself one piece of advice when I first started out, it's just to calm down a little bit when it comes to camera rigging. I think for a lot of new cinematographers, they feel the need to rig their cameras out as big as possible just because they see the pros do it. And I would encourage you to really think about, what are you trying to achieve when you're shooting? Are you literally just trying to get a few B-roll shots? Are you shooting majority interviews where this thing's just going to be stuck on a tripod anyway? Really think about the types of shots that you are wanting to get and build your rig according to the shots. Don't build your rig according to how cool it might look when you have a full VCT base plate with rods and a matte box, follow focus units. All good, great things that you definitely will need eventually when you come across bigger commercial shoots. But when it comes to your specific type of filmmaking, maybe this is all you need. Maybe you just need a simple Ursa with a battery and a lens. You don't even need the screen, you don't need the side handle. You could simply hold the Ursa like this without even touching the handle and simply just pull focus. And that might be all you need. So build your rig according to the footage that you might shoot rather than how cool it's going to look at the end of the day. I'm really keen to do a whole bunch more camera rig builds, and we are going to look at a whole lot of different builds for the Ursa Mini Pro G2 coming up. One of the primary ways we use this is using the Easy Rig with the Vario 5, and we obviously want to add weight to that when we're using the Easy Rig to get those beautiful cinematic shots. We use cine lenses, we want matte boxes to control the filters, all that sort of stuff on the front. And so we're going to look at that in the future. But for now, if you've stuck with me till the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Please leave a comment in the comment box below. Click subscribe and hit the like button on this video to see more awesome videos like this. Thanks for viewing this video. I appreciate you once again. And if you haven't noticed already, I've shot this entire video using the iPhone 13, which I'm enjoying. It's actually been a bit of a mission shooting this video with the lighting and using Filmic Pro because I've never used a phone to shoot video before. But what do you think? Leave a line in the comment box below. I'll see you in the next one.